My name is Sarah. I'm standing on the porch of my neighbor's house, surrounded by three large black suitcases, and the air is thick with tension. Dean, my neighbor, is looking at me, his eyes filled with shock and anger, while Rachel, his wife, is sobbing behind him. And there, standing at the curb, is my ex-husband, Mark, his face as white as a sheet. This is the moment I've been waiting for, the moment when the truth finally comes out. It all started when I moved to the idyllic neighborhood of Elmwood. I was 38, a successful marketing manager at a tech startup in Austin. My parents were hard-working middle-class folks. My father was a mechanic, a man of few words, but with a heart of gold. My mother was a schoolteacher, kind and nurturing. They always taught me to be honest and to trust others. I married Mark 5 years ago. He was an architect, and our marriage seemed perfect. We lived in a beautiful 2-story house with a large backyard. Elmwood was the kind of place where neighbors greeted each other with smiles, and the streets were lined with old oak trees. It was a community where families thrived, and I thought it was the perfect place to build a life. Across the street lived a couple named Lily and Ethan. Lily was a fashion designer, always dressed in the latest trends, with long, flowing hair. Ethan was a stockbroker, charming and confident. They welcomed us to the neighborhood with a basket of fresh fruits and a bottle of champagne. I thought they were the perfect neighbors. I was so busy with work that I didn't notice the signs. Mark would often come home late, saying he had to work on a project. I trusted him, just like I'd been taught. I never checked his phone or questioned his whereabouts. I believed in our marriage. But one fateful morning, I walked into the kitchen and saw Mark's phone on the counter. A message popped up on the screen. Miss you. Ethan's out of town for a week. Can you come over tonight? The name on the screen was Lily. My world came crashing down. I opened the message thread and saw hundreds of texts between them. There were selfies, private jokes, and plans for secret meetings. One message said, "Your house is so cozy. I love being here when Sarah's away." I felt sick to my stomach. When Mark came downstairs, he was shocked to see me holding his phone. He tried to explain, saying it was a mistake, that Lily came on to him. But I wasn't buying it. I told him I was going to the office and that I didn't want to see him when I got back. I gave him 2 options, leave or I'd tell Ethan everything. I was devastated, but I knew I couldn't just sit back and do nothing. I called my sister, Amy. She was 32, a lawyer at a small firm. She was tough and no nonsense. When I told her what had happened, she was furious. She helped me gather evidence, screenshots of the messages, call logs, and a timeline of Mark's absences that matched Ethan's business trips. We also froze our joint bank accounts. I then contacted a divorce attorney, M.S. Thompson, a no-nonsense woman with a sharp mind. She assured me that she'd make sure Mark got what he deserved. We planned to expose them on a day when Ethan would be away. We found out from the neighborhood group chat that Ethan was going to a business conference in Houston for a day. Mark and Lily would think it was a safe time. I packed 3 suitcases with Mark's important things, his favorite suits, a family heirloom watch, and a notebook where I'd written, "Always believe in you," on the first page. I sent Mark a message telling him to be at Lily's place on that day and that I was sending his things. On that day, I drove to Lily's house with Amy. We parked near the house, and I sent a text to Mrs. Jenkins, an elderly neighbor, who confirmed that Ethan had left and Lily was home alone. We walked up to the porch, and Amy knocked on the door. When Lily opened the door, she was shocked to see us and the suitcases. I told her I was just returning what Mark had left behind. Just then, Ethan's car pulled up. He was supposed to be in Houston, but the conference had been canceled. When he saw the suitcases and the look on our faces, he was confused. I took a deep breath and told him the truth about Mark and Lily's affair. Ethan was furious. He demanded proof, and I showed him the evidence on my phone. Lily tried to explain, but Ethan wasn't listening. He told her she had to leave the house. Mark then arrived, looking panicked. He begged me to talk in private, but I refused. I told Ethan about all the details of their affair, and Ethan was enraged. In the end, the truth was out. Mark and Lily lost everything. Mark moved into a small apartment and Lily left town. I kept the house not because I was attached to it, but because I didn't want to give up what I'd worked for. As time passed, the rumors in the neighborhood faded. I started to rebuild my life. I changed the decor of the house, got rid of all the things that reminded me of Mark. Ethan and I became friends. One day, he invited me on a trip to New Mexico. We drove in silence at first, but it was a comfortable silence. We stopped at a diner on the way, and he told me about his past. When we reached New Mexico, we stayed in a cabin in the mountains. There was no Wi-Fi, just the sound of nature. For the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. I didn't think about Mark at all. When we got back to Austin, I realized that I'd grown stronger. I no longer saw the past as a wound, but as a lesson. I learned that real love doesn't mean sacrificing yourself, and I'm ready to embrace the future with open arms.